a real estate and finance expert that goes to bat for you every day as a consumer advocate. Your host and the consumer quarterback, Brandon Rhymes.
And welcome to the show. Thank you for spending some time with us. Thanks for reaching out and supporting the local economy by supporting the Consumer Quarterback Show and all of our 50-plus show partners, 80 categories of consumer advocate content and advice right here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We got a great lineup for you today. Mark Haye in the house, 21st Century Financial Group. We got a Forbes article talking about the improving retirement. Also, Federal Reserve talks about net worth by age. So we're going to have Mark talk about that. He's our expert contributor for all things finance and retirement. And also coming up as well, attorney Derek Usman. He's business litigation and employment law, so we're going to talk with him about the dynamics in that space as well. And we always like to feature our real estate listings. It's part of a strategy that helps us sell faster for more money. We're maximizing the exposure for our sellers and helping our sellers sell faster, less time on the market, and higher offers. We have one of the highest list price to sell price ratios in all of Tampa Bay. So here's a great property for you at 18522 Gulf Boulevard. This one is on the beach, literally on the sugar sand beaches and dolphin-filled waters of Pinellas County, Indian Shores. This is Unit F at 18522 Gulf Boulevard. What we have is a 3-bedroom, 3-bath property, townhome with 1979 square feet. This is a great opportunity. You got a condo on Indian Shores, so you have parking, covered parking as well, beautiful flooring. The property is just right on the beach, so I love that. You literally walk past the heated pool and around the gate there, and you're on the beaches of Pinellas County. Beautiful property on Gulf Boulevard. And the best part, it is rentable. You can rent this out short term. A lot of people are looking for those short-term rental opportunities. Well, here's a great one for you. We also have a property at 1919 West Lemon Street in South Tampa. It's a Hyde Park beauty here in South Tampa. This one is 1,400 square feet on Lemon Street, craftsman-style home, beautiful property, 2-bedroom, 1-bath bungalow in North Hyde Park, located near UT, downtown in Soho. You also have current tenant that's in place if you'd like to keep that tenant in place. It's an inviting 2-bedroom, 1-bath bungalow in North Hyde Park, Lemon Street, Tampa. And you can see all of our real estate listings at PlatinumCoastalElite.com. Check out PlatinumCoastalElite.com.
Yeah, I'm raising my glass to those saving our ass overseas.
All right, shout out to Brio Tuscan Grill, the official restaurant partner of the Consumer Quarterback Show. Brio Tuscan Grill at the International Plaza Mall. And it's also third Thursday of the month. Save that date because it's a networking opportunity. You can come out and meet our radio show partners, our expert contributors, our real estate agents on the team. Brio Tuscan Grill coming up on the 15th of February. It's going to be 6 o'clock over at 2223 North West Shore Boulevard in Tampa. Come out and say hello to the team. Bring your questions. If you have any questions for any of our expert contributors, we're going to have appetizers provided. Brio Tuscan Grill, longtime friend of the Consumer Quarterback Show, restaurant partner. Excellent food over there, by the way. Fresh from scratch, Tuscan-inspired recipes. Salmon fresca, most popular item. They also have happy hours there as well. Mark Haye, welcome back, sir.
Good to see you. How are you doing?
Yeah, man. Blessed and highly favored, rocking and rolling. Things are going well, and here we are in studio, acting as that consumer advocate. I love what you bring to the show, man. Always bringing good content.
I appreciate it. Well, obviously, because of the new year, we're obviously in February, but there's still articles coming out on retirement and what to do for the new year, and I always like to look at them, Barron's and Forbes, and so I brought a couple in. I thought we could chat about them, and the first article, the title literally reads, "Saving $1 million for retirement is a feat accomplished by only a few people."
Wow.
So then the first line or first sentence says just 3.2 Americans managed to save at least $1 million in retirement accounts.
3.2%.
3.2%.
Wow.
So if you take a look at that and say, all right, let's just take a 30-year-old and they're going to wait till 65 or 67 years old and they're going to save into this plan, they have a 3.2% chance that's even going to work, at that point. So you're sacrificing, you're delaying, you're scrimping, you're saving, you're putting into this plan for 30, 40 years with a 97% failure rate,
right,
that it's not going to work. And the problem is with these plans, and we're talking about 401ks and IRAs, government-sponsored plans, when you go into these plans, you find out too late that it didn't work. Right. Once you're 65, it's too late. There's nothing else we can do other than let's just try to see if we can't make this work. But if you got $1 million in your 401k right now, you say, okay, I want to retire, and we took out 5%, that's $50,000 a year of taxable income.
Yeah.
Which makes your Social Security taxable. Whereas if we could just have it under the threshold of your standard deduction for a couple of $29,000, we can get Social Security tax free. There's a lot of things you could do as far as planning, but if you just did this with a 3% chance of failure rate, and this is the article that they're putting out there, it's amazing that people keep doing it. It really is.
Yeah.
And then it goes through, here's some secrets to become a 401k millionaire. First of all, can we just retire this whole thing about 401ks and putting money? If you could put all your money into something that's liquid, that still has a tax deferral, that has opportunities where something comes along, you want to start a business, buy a piece of real estate, we can access that money without a tax or penalty. Wouldn't you want to do that, or at least know about it, instead of just shoving your money into something that you can't touch and there's penalties and you really have no control?
Right.
You know what I mean? And that's why I always say it's not about accumulation, it's about cash flow. It's about having assets that are liquid, that develop cash flow. I met with a client yesterday, and her little 10-year-old Mason and her friend Axel made me this little rubber band bracelet because they want to start a business,
Nice.
and they want to go down to the markets and they want to sell them for a few dollars and this and that. And I'm like, that's what you need. You need young people not being indoctrinated with this 401k philosophy, but talking about a small business. How can we generate income and passive income and cash flow, and what can we do? As a 10-year-old, they're probably not going to go off in the rest of their life and develop rubber band bracelets. But you get my point. Their thinking is, no, I don't want to accumulate. I don't want to wait 30, 40 years. I want to develop my lifestyle today.
Yeah.
And you can certainly do that. And we talk about paying kids through the business and making that tax-free. But that's just an idea for if you have kids and they want to have a rubber band business and make bracelets, you could just add that to your business. You're already paying your kid, you know what I mean, tax-free. Just an idea. But their idea is right, not we're going to accumulate and wait 30, 40 years. You know what I mean?
Well, the flexibility, too, like you talk about with some of the programs that you mentioned, is you have the asset building there, so you're building it up. You are taking advantage of the S&P or whatever index. You're taking part in something like 85% of the upside with no downside exposure. And then, by the way, something happens, the car breaks down, a kid needs money for college, whatever happens, you have access to pull money out of that plan, whereas these other programs you don't.
Yeah, exactly. And when you go into a 401k, you're in mutual funds, you're at the mercy of Wall Street and the government. You can't control what Wall Street does in mutual funds. You can't control what the government does for inflation, taxes, etc. So you're at the mercy to it. You have no control.
Two institutions you don't
and
trust,
like you said, you have no bottom to help you, protect you from any kind of loss. You're just at the mercy of that, and you got to watch that for 30, 40 years, and hopefully it works out. And so when they go through this article, they talk about 3 secrets of 401k millionaire. One thing is get a full company match. I understand a lot of people get excited about a company match, and I think, it's free money. I get it. But you got to be vested with that company. A lot of times you got to be there 5, 7, or 10 years to even keep the match. And
a lot of them aren't giving it out at all.
Exactly, not giving it at all. But let's say you do get a match, and the vesting is 7 years. Most people don't stay at the company for more than 7 years anyways.
Right.
They're
I'd like to see
leaving.
the stats on that.
We
talk
the
actual stats, right?
Probably they're not just going to. It's not like it was when our grandparents were working and they're there for 30 years in a company to get a pension. Now it's, can you pay me more? And this guy's going to pay me 50 cents more, so they leave. And you're not really there that long.
Not there
right.
As much,
And so I understand the company match, but most of the time people don't get it, because they're not vested. At the same time, it's almost like a trap. Like, we'll give you this match if you put all your money in here and then lock it up for 30, 40 years, and then we're going to keep your money, And
then not even counting the compounding of the fees. A lot of times it's fees that you don't see. Right?
Yeah, and that's another thing, too. A 401k plan is a very, very expensive plan. We're talking 2.5% that goes with the asset. So as you accumulate, as you invest, that 2% goes with it. So if you start at $100,000 or $2,000, if you started at $1 million, now you're paying $20,000 a year in fees. That's very expensive.
Right.
If you did that over a course of 30 years, you're probably talking about $250,000 to $500,000 of fees over that lifetime.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So when you say, we get a company match, I get it. Go up to the company match. If it's 4%, go to 4%, and then take the rest of what you're putting into something else.
Right.
So you can diversify, have liquidity, and do that. Or a lot of companies will give you 3% without putting anything into it. Okay, so we'll take that, but take your money and let's not just put into a 401k. Let's do something that is liquid, that has the same tax deferral that we can then utilize for cash flow or an opportunity. So, that strikes me as almost a trap, getting that match.
I think it's part of it. It's part of their compensation plan. It's part of the benefits package, and essentially. But again, if you look at the numbers, if you were to pull up the numbers on how many companies are going to offer a full-time match, I think the numbers would probably surprise most people.
Yeah, it'd be low.
We're talking with Mark Haye, 21st Century Financial Group. He's our financial advising expert contributor for the Consumer Quarterback Show. I'm your host, Brandon Rhymes. Reach out 727-263-3707 if you'd like a consultation with Mark or an introduction to any of our expert contributors, attorneys, CPAs, financial advisors, all types of great home service providers as well. 727-263-3707, local Tampa Bay-based show, 10 years on air, and it's all about helping you win in any marketplace. Mark, how else can we help our listeners win out there?
Well, going back to that match and contributing to 401k, people don't realize this. Obviously, with student loan debt and everything, it's a topic. But the government changed it where the employer now can match or contribute to your student loans.
Okay.
And people don't understand that that's even available right now. So if you say, okay, instead of putting into my 401k or matching my 401k, I want you to match my student loan contribution. And sometimes it makes sense. You know, if your student loan debt is 10, 15, 18% interest rates, you know, it's going to be very, very hard inside your 401k to make 18% a year or 15% a year. It may make more sense to have that match and your contributions go to pay off that loan to help develop the cash flow that is going to be needed. Get rid of that. And who cares about putting into this 401k plan? You know, you got a 3% chance of even working anyways. Why don't we tackle this 18% student loan that is crippling you, your wife, and your kids and your family, because all you guys think about is paying off these student loans, and take advantage of that match going to the student loan and not to 401k.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Sure.
I have these conversations, but it's like a paradigm shift. People can't get away from, well, I got to put in a 401k. Who cares? You have a 3% chance of making it. But if you put into your student loan, pay that off, and let's say your payment is $1,500 a month, and we can get that paid off, guess what we just developed? $1,500 a month of cash flow now that we can put into something, invest, or whatever that, or just have your lifestyle. But that's just an option, you know, that certainly you can do that people are not doing. Lastly, this thing talked about is don't withdraw funds unnecessarily. You know, again, if you put your money into these plans, you can't touch it till 59.5 without a penalty, taxes, et cetera. Now, there are some provisions, like if you're sick, terminally ill, et cetera, you can get access. But again, why lock the money up for 30, 40 years with no access? So when something comes along, or like you said, a car breaks down, or even an investment opportunity, you can't do it. You know, you're just at the mercy. You have no control, you know. And so the next article I printed was from Forbes, and the secrets of a simple, effective plan for retirement savings. And again, the first sentence is less than 9% of Americans have a net worth of $1 million. So now we're talking about net worth. We're not talking about in a 401k at 3%. We're talking about less than 10% of Americans have a net worth of $1 million. So then I pulled up the Federal Reserve, because every 3 years they do a study of net worth for age group. So this is the medium net worth. And let's just look at our age group from 35 to 44. Yep. The median net worth right now in our age group is $91,000.
Wow.
You know, so if all this works, you know, putting in this 401k, all this works, how is it only $91,000 in our age group, which is scary to me.
Yeah.
But let's fast forward into retirement age, and let's look at 65 to 74. So the median net worth in that age group, which is a very strong age group of retirement or retirees, et cetera.
Should be. Yep.
Yeah. $266,000 net worth. We're not talking about in a 401k or in a bank account. We're talking about everything that they have.
Well, let's look at what the government's done too. Like think about the transfer of wealth when we have the China virus come across the seas.
Yeah.
Think about the transfer of wealth when the banking crisis back in 2008. You know, all these different scenarios, these crises that happen, and then of course, you got to shut down this type of bank, and who does it benefit? It benefits the big guys. Mark, we got to run to a break here, but Mark Haye, 21st Century Financial Group, here on the Consumer Quarterback Show. We're talking retirement. We're talking smart money moves here with Mark Haye coming up as well. I got a clip I'm going to play with Ted Cruz. More and more rappers and, you know, even 50 Cent's in the news lately. Find out what 50 Cent said about the political climate here coming up on the Consumer Quarterback Show. Check us out online at Brandon Rhymes 1, at CQB Show, and please subscribe to the YouTube channel, Brandon Rhymes Realty. We'll be right back. Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com
Thanks
as
for
well. Think about it. If you're out on the boat 40, 50 miles out, maybe you're going hunting or you're going hiking in the woods somewhere, you run out of cell phone service, or who knows, maybe a possible terrorist attack. It's not like our politicians aren't entrenched in all this stuff going on overseas, all over the place, all over the world. Could be a terrorist attack. They could attack the power grid. They could attack the cell phones. Who knows what they're going to attack next. Sat123.com/REQB. Sat for satellite, sat123.com/REQB, like real estate quarterback.
You're listening to the Consumer Quarterback, Brandon Rhymes, cutting through your typical media nonsense and offering you a rational and unbiased perspective on current events and life in Tampa Bay. Online at consumerqb.com.
All right, Brandon Rhymes, Consumer Quarterback Show, in studio here with Mark Haye, 21st Century Financial Group. Before we jump back into this money market talk, we're going to talk about a couple of hot listings here that we've got in Tampa Bay. We've got a beach property at 6441 4th Palm Point in St. Pete Beach. This is a beautiful listing from our team. Aaron and Lindsay on the team have this wonderful listing at 2907 6441 4th Palm Point. This one's 3-bedroom, 2-bath. 2280 square feet. Location is just a great location with stunning views of Boca Ciega Bay. And if you look at the pool overlooking the waterway there, it almost has that infinity edge style look in the pool. You've got your own private boat dock. Bring your boat, bring your jet skis. Beautiful property here. You got a fireplace in this home and a great opportunity to own a beach property and St. Pete Beach, 6441 4th Palm Point in St. Pete Beach, Pinellas County, close to the Sugar Sand Beaches and dolphin-filled waters of beautiful St. Petersburg Beach. 2907 North Florida Avenue. This is a commercial property. Yes, we list commercial, vacant land, and residential properties through our real estate company, the Platinum MVP team at Keller Williams Realty. 2907 North Florida Avenue. This is a 3/4 acre lot, corner lot location close to downtown. The opportunity to go vertical also, something we don't talk about a lot, but this one has opportunity to go vertical 7 stories tall. So think about some large development play. Maybe you're going to build some storage facility there, but you've got 12,000 square feet, a separate building that's rented out, kicking off about $6,500 a month in income. Plenty of parking spaces, close to 30 parking spaces there. 2907 North Florida Avenue in Tampa, just under a $3 million listing of ours. You can see all of our real estate listings at PlatinumCoastalElite.com.
This is God's country.
All right, quick shout out to Replenish IV Solutions. I just came from their South Tampa location, Replenish IV Solutions on Gandy Boulevard. They've got one off of Bears and New Tampa area. Great opportunity, ReplenishIVSolutions.com. Get that vitamin infusion drip, Myers cocktail, and all the good stuff right into your body. All the vitamins and nutrients to boost your immunity. ReplenishIVSolutions.com. Let them know the real estate quarterback sent you. All right, we got Mark Haye in the house. Mark, I'm going to play this quick clip here. Ted Cruz summarizes it up with how he's, just the political climate. And you got more and more of these kind of, rappers and artists, different people coming out and saying, hey, maybe I might want to look at Trump.
There's also, and you and I have talked about this, and I think this is a really important moment. We should just highlight it again. Don't look at what they say. Look at what they do. You look at Mayor Adams in New York City, and what he says is we're a sanctuary city early on. We're a loving city. Come one, come all. We'll accept all the illegal immigrants. Now he's saying we can't afford it. Now he's saying it's a humanitarian crisis. Now he's saying this is all the fault of the Texas governor, Greg Abbott, for busing people there. And so he's saying one thing but doing another. And then he says we have a problem, yet New York comes out. New York City has come out, and now they're giving prepaid credit cards with real cash on them to illegal immigrants. Even the rapper 50 Cent has said maybe Trump is the answer. This is the second, basically liberal that you just mentioned, the first comedian there. Now 50 Cent, an African-American famous rapper, saying, I don't understand how this works. Somebody explain this to me.
Did you get your free card? I didn't get my free card.
No.
Alex, did you get your free card? I don't think nobody in here got our free card yet.
That's something. One thing is giving a free card, but what happens when they spend the money? I mean, how long do we keep this free card situation going?
Right.
You know what I mean? And to blame it on a governor who's running a state that's literally being overtaken,
exactly,
by illegal immigration or illegal. So, I mean, I think he did the right thing by busing them. What are you going to keep them in Texas?
Right.
Okay, if you guys think this is a good idea, we should have open borders. Here you go.
Yeah.
You take care of these people because they need somewhere to go, but it can't just all be in Texas.
Yeah.
I don't blame the guy. It's shameful. And then you look at all the billions of dollars that went to Ukraine. We could have built that wall 10 times around the United States of America, and they still had money left over.
Well, I saw
you know
a
what I mean?
meme or something, Mark, where it said, with all the money that was sent overseas, we could have eradicated homelessness. Veterans could have had the best quality care. It could have been just an amazing spend in our border in America. And I think that's the point with this open border and all the stuff going on in Texas right now is that every state is a border state now.
Yeah, exactly. Well, and they get votes. They're gonna make it somehow so they can vote, and then they're just gonna vote the party that gives them the free money, obviously.
Exactly.
And so it's just a play. It's election year. They want votes, and like we talk about, I don't care who the person is, like the person A and person B and person C. What values do you want? What do you want to see the country do? And vote for that person.
Right.
Don't look at a name, a personality, but just what do they want to see America? What direction do you want it to go to? And does it align with that person?
Right.
And I said it before, I want a secure border. Mm-hmm. I want our kids not to worry about candies having fentanyl in it. I mean, who doesn't want that? Exactly. You know what I mean? I don't want wars raging in the Middle East, and I don't want to be a part of that if we don't have to. I want peace, So
exactly.
What candidate is going to bring us that? That's who I'm going to vote for. I don't care what party they're in. Bring that to me.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And so
it's the policies, it's the actions.
Yeah, so I just hope people, really take this year and learn from 2020 and say, look, I'm not going to vote with my feelings. I'm going to vote for my values and what I believe this country should face and go towards. And hopefully it gets corrected this November and we can move forward with a strong country, a strong nation, and strong, beliefs.
Amen. We got to have it. We need it. Mark Haye, 21st Century Financial Group, financial advisor, free consultation, Mark. They can sit down with you, give them a copy of your book. I would
Absolutely.
bet you'd offer them a copy of your book. Take about a minute or so and talk to me about that process. They sit down with you. They bring their previous investments. Hey, here's what I got, Mark.
Yep. And if all you want to do is a phone call with me, I have a phone call and say, hey, here's what we've been doing. I don't really care about the values. You tell me what you're doing, I could tell you what's going to work or not. You know what I mean? But it's a very quick phone call, and we can kind of go from there. But, yeah, it's free to meet with me. It's certainly going to be worth your time. And my number is 727-804-7220. And certainly text or call me anytime you want.
Say that number again.
727-804-7220.
I mentioned the quarterback show, consumerqb.com. In case you're driving, you couldn't jot that down. Consumerqb.com. You can see Mark's contact info there. You can see previous shows, and you can also submit an email form through the show there, and we'll put you in touch with Mark Haye, 21st Century Financial Group, and a longtime friend of the show and a financial expert, also published author, does a great job on the show. Check out the YouTube channel, by the way. He's got lots of videos out there dropping a lot of knowledge on ways that you can improve your taxes, your finances, and more. Mark, thanks again.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
You have a good day.
All right. Coming up here, we got attorney Derek Usman in the house, business litigation and employment law. I'm interested to find out what he has to say and talk more about local area business owners, business in the community here on the Consumer Quarterback Show, consumerqb.com.
Hey, I'm Ken Shamrock, and you're here with Consumer Quarterback Show. And I say, Brandon Rhymes, knock out your competition.